Well, after the first month of incredibly successful reads, I'm really excited to start this month. And these books are a lot thinner, except for the first one. If you watch the Katie Colson wrap-up for the best books, according to BookTube for 2024, I am moving on to the next set of honorable mentions. And we have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I've not read any Elsie Silver yet, so that'll be my first one. And then Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. And I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. So all of these are new authors to me. Some, let's say, I guess just this one, Wild Love, is a new series. And new author, new everything. And this one is almost 500 pages, and the rest of these are pretty moderate. So compared, look, I can hold them all in one hand, even sloppily. Compared to last month, when, there were 3 books that were almost 500, if not over 500 pages, this should be a breeze, right? We'll see. I just hope it's as successful. Well, we have to keep that average up because I'm starting with an average of 4.875. So let's see if these next 4 bring up or down or stay the same on that average. Wish me luck. I will start with Wild Love. We are heading out to San Antonio for a trip to go see an editor who works for Curse Dragonship and a friend of mine who graduated from the publishing masters at Western Colorado. So we're very, very excited to go see her in San Antonio, and that will give me some time to read on the car, on the way there, on the way back. Maybe when we're hanging out in the evenings, my husband and I, we like to sit at bars and read. So, because we're just cool like that. So we'll see how much of these I can knock out over the next week, and I'll let you know how it all worked. Wish me luck. If you can hear stuff in the background, that's because there's some kind of ball game going on in San Antonio. What ball game is it?
Gay sports ball.
Gay sports ball, he says. Yeah, I think it's a basketball. It's called the orange ball. Yeah, it's the Final Four. We know what it is because we saw it on the signs. That's it. So it's a little loud, but I thought I would update you. I'm about halfway done with Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This is pretty darn good. I am, like I said, halfway done. We just got to deal with my hair. This is live TV, people. Live TV. The love story so far is beautiful. I really love it. This is definitely slow burn. 50%. There has not been a sex scene yet, and I am not disappointed. This relationship is beautiful. The kid in it is awesome. The extra characters in it, I love the voices of both the Rosie and Ford. Billionaire romances, roll my eyes. This one has me feeling all kinds of different things. It's really, really well done. So we'll see if it finishes as well as this first half has been. But I'm going to say so far, man, you booktubers, you know what you're talking about. All right, I'll let you know how it ends. Popping on to give you a quick update. I have finished Wild Love. It was wild. It was wild. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. The relationship, beautiful. These two people, like, really ordered and really crazy. So, of course, they're beautiful and perfect together. The sex scenes were fantastic. One complaint. When they had like creative sex or angry sex or the beginning sex, great. But they didn't have any like sweet, romantic. Anytime it would go to that, it would fade to black. Anytime it was about to be sweet, anytime you're like, oh, look at them, they would kiss and it'd be like, and he fulfilled my dreams, like that. I was like, well, why do you only have one kind? But minor problem, 4.5 stars. I loved it, which is good because book 2 is later on. So good thing I liked it because I have to read the next one. But Elsie Silver, I will say I totally understand the hype around Elsie Silver. This author can weave a tale, can keep you enthralled. And this book is like 440 about pages long, and it felt like it was like 225. It was such a quick read. Nicely paced. So really well done. 4.5 stars. Not too bad. Quite liked it. You know, I never thought I was going to be a romance kind of reader. The things you learn about yourself. And I did start Chuck Tingle. Secret about me, I always read 3 books at the same time, an audiobook, a ebook, and a physical book. So I was actually already reading this one while I was reading that one. So I have already started Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle, and I'm about halfway through. And I also quite love this one. If anything, it's a little repetitive. So he's going back over, this is about a screenwriter who writes horror and a lot of gay horror, even though he's still in the closet with his family in Montana. They're just in denial, though, as is he, for how much they know or don't know. You know, denial will get you a long way. And that's where he is with that thing. But the monsters that are actually based on his own trauma have come to life. And it's creepy. And we don't know what's happening. Some of y'all might have known right away. I have no idea what's happening. I don't know where this is going. I don't know, like, what it means, why it started happening. I don't know. I love the Bury Your Gaze thing, right? And he's like, I'm not writing any more gay trauma. We're not, this is not, why can't gays just be happy? And I love that. He's got a really good point. He talks about the scene when he was a kid, and it's really X-Files. But in his case, to make his point, right, the 2 FBI agents were both male. So watching that whole, it's really, really, I've not read anything by Chuck Tingle. This one's my first. And so far, fan. We'll see. Just like always, an ending can make or break a book. I have a feeling I will finish this tonight, though, because I have a lot to do. So obviously, I'm going to procrastinate and just finish this book. That's my typical MO. So if it's a lot darker outside, but I'm wearing the same shirt you know why. Yeah. All right. I'll fill you in. Darker outside. Same shirt. Finished. Once about at the halfway point where I was, there's no stopping. You have to finish it. It was really, really good. I cried. And then I cursed, really, really hoping it wasn't going to end where I thought it was going to end. There were a few surprises. I did discover the main crux of the story as soon as they analyzed some ash. That might be a hint. Not a spoiler. We'll see if you get it at the same point. But otherwise, everything else I did guess right when Chuck wanted me to. So exactly at the point that he wanted me to know what was about to happen, that's when I knew. That is very clever writing. Very clever writing. I loved this book. The theme is a little terrifying and a little too realistic for a horror book, if you ask me. But I loved it. It had a point to make, and it made it in an entertaining way and a visceral way. Nicely done. He also, Chuck Tingle's the author of Camp Damascus. That was like huge, like last year before, something like that. He references that event that happened at Camp Damascus here. Have I read the book? Do I know exactly what the event is? No. Does he spoil anything in here? No, but the fact that he mentioned it was hilarious. That's very clever. I wonder how many of his other things he has mentioned in here that I'm just not familiar with. Easter eggs are awesome. But overall, very, very meaningful. Meaningful. Quite enjoyed it. 5 stars. Loved it. So done with that one. Next one on this. Does my taste align with BookTubers? I mean, so far, yes. 7 Year Slip. So another romance. Last time we were like very fantasy heavy, and this time we're more romance heavy. So this will be next. The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I'll fill you in later. I'm here at H-E-B picking up groceries, and I thought now would be a great time to update y'all on the 7 Year Slip. I am just about halfway through. It's charming, but I'm a little bored. It's not charming enough. Like, things are moving extremely, extremely slowly. I don't just mean with the romance, right? For me, romance is just the added benefit of the story. The actual storyline of what's happening, she's the main character, Clementine. Fantastic name. By the way, Clementine and the Ewan, I don't know how to say his name, the male love interest in this, he calls her Lemon, and that is the cutest dang thing I have ever heard, and I love it. That kind of stuff is keeping me reading. Plus, he's a chef, so all the food talk keeps me reading, and she's in publishing. Obviously, that keeps me reading. But I'm not really invested in either of them. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. So I think maybe if it moved a little faster, I would be in it. It's really short. So I'm like, would this have been a better short story and just like gotten to the point? I don't know. But usually by this point, I'm like really curious and I have to know what's going to happen. And I want to, but because it's a romance, I know they're going to end up together, right? It's an HEA. And there's nothing else that I'm curious about in here. Even though it's got this apartment that goes back in time 7 years, you'd think that would be cool, but is what it is. All right, I'll catch you up later. Bye. I finished. And this book is part of the proof why I don't like to DNF books quickly. Because the beginning was slow for me. I wasn't into it. And then about halfway through, some really cool stuff happened, and then better stuff, and then better stuff. And it was so good. And I was glad it took its time at the beginning to really build that foundation so everything else worked as it went along. So awesome. I really liked it. 4-star. So it wasn't a 5-star read, but it was 4-star. That's pretty, that's impressive. I'll take it. I would recommend it to the right reader. It's really good. It had like spicy moments, but that's not what was the important part. And there was only like 2. So I really, really appreciated this book. Nicely done. Wasn't sure if I was going to be an Ashley Poston fan. Still not sure if I'm an Ashley Poston fan, but I do want to read more to find out for sure. So not horrible. I have started this one, last one for this particular episode. It's I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This is a translation from the French. This book, this tiny, tiny, tiny writing all the way through it. There are no chapters. There are no section breaks. It's just this. I've read term papers that were broken up better. So hence, it's really boring. And not only that, I have no idea what this is about. But I'm not halfway yet, so I'm not going to... I don't understand this world building. This world makes no sense to me. I think this book, so far from what I've read, is for philosophers. Like, philosophers might enjoy reading this and, taking apart the meaning and what it's like. They keep going, oh, I've never known men, but the guards are right outside. What do you mean you've never known men? You haven't had sex? But that's like, I don't understand, okay? I don't understand. I certainly don't understand why it's so popular. This seems to be something that, like, a niche market would like. I just, maybe they listen to an audio and it's a different experience in audio, because I will say that's true of things that I've listened to versus read. I do have a different experience between the two things. Maybe it's different if I listen to it in audio, because I will tell you, reading it with my eyeballs, not only is it giving me a headache because of its formatting, I don't care about anyone in this book. They're non-entities. I don't know. So it's dystopian. These women are locked in cages. They don't remember what happened to get them there. And then there's this child among them for some reason. And they don't know where she came from. And she's the one questioning everything, because, that's how it works, right? The established people don't question, the children do, right? So she's there as a, device to question all the things. And she's really smart. And they do this thing with clocks because they're in this, like, cage underground. So there's no sun, there's no anything, and nothing seems to happen on a regular schedule. And so the girl learns how to count. It's the clock thing. It was cool. I mean, that's an interesting problem-solving technique, I would say. Not sure how much I believe all of it, except that there's no other distractions, maybe. But I don't... Again, it's short. I'll finish it because it's short. But I might have to get out of the house just so I can concentrate on it and not do anything else. Even, like, go wash the dishes besides read this book. So we'll see where I end up.
We've been invaded. Apparently Benny didn't grab him big enough last time. Look, not concerned at all.
This is my angry face. I, who have never known men, was a waste of my time. A huge waste of my time. So angry. 1 star. Considering how many 5 stars that I have read in this experiment on whether booktubers and my taste agree, I was not expecting this. It surprised me. I was like, maybe it'll get to a point. Maybe some magic will happen at the end that makes it all make sense, or make my torment of reading this monotonous book work. You know how there's a lot of, like, sword and sorcery fantasy, and it's based on, like, D&D campaigns, and people play a D&D campaign and have some great laughs and great fun, and they're like, I'm going to write a book about this, right? And they do that. This book is like someone played one of those really boring, pointless survival games where there's no reason for why you are there, and there's, like, no escape. You just kind of have to live as long as you can for no reason. Yeah, somebody played that and decided, you know what? I'm going to write a book about it. supposed to get from this? I went through and read, after I gave this a 1 star, I went through and read the 5 stars. Curious about what it was that people loved about this book. And the number one comment were things along the lines of, it made me feel about what it was to be human. I'm like, how? How? All they did was survive, kind of. Sort of. For a bit. I just, and for all the struggle, there really wasn't any struggle because there was a ridiculous amount of clean water and food. But there were no animals at all, no insects at all, even though they referred like she was afraid there was going to be an insect under logs. I'm like, what are you talking about? You've said through the whole book that there's no, or under rocks. What are you talking about? There's been no insects the whole book, and suddenly you think there's going to be an insect under there? Also, there were way too many scenes with women where the main character here, we just get one perspective. I would say I can't tell you why because it'd be spoilers, but I don't see how I could spoil anything because nothing happens. Nothing happens. All right. I'm not bitter or anything. I didn't stay up late because I just had to know why they were there, why this was happening. Where did the guards go? What is going on? The inciting incident where like the guards run away and they get out of their prison and then that's like starts the whole journey thing. It's not a spoiler. That's the inciting incident. It happens on page 50, and they're around 50, and there are 164 pages. I know. Tell you how I really feel, right? All right, look. The overall, not so bad. I definitely enjoyed the last reading experiment that I did. I think the average was like 4.875 stars. There was more fantasy though, which is definitely up my alley more than this like romance horror. And I don't know, those genres here, they're not my favorite, but they weren't bad. So let us review real quick for this second set of honorable mentions for BookTubers' favorites from 2024, compiled by the wonderful, always insightful Katie Colson. Wild Love. Wild Love was charming. Their relationship was adorable. The way they talked to each other, their history, the way they acted with the unexpected child he found out he had, their family dynamics. I loved this book. This was really fun. There were just a few things, like the first half had no sex and the second half had lots of sex. I don't know. I guess I just want it. I won't even say it was unrealistic. I would just say it distracted from the stuff that I loved the best about this book. So yeah, it was charming. 4.5 stars. And the second one was A Bury Your Gaze, my lovely library copy. My first Chuck Tingle ever. Quite enjoyed this book. It took me on a grand adventure. I figured out one of the main cruxes, but the ending didn't end when I thought it was going to, and they kept going. And for a very satisfying moment at the end, I did figure things out, but only right when Chuck wanted me to. That's good writing. That's what I tried to tell my authors to do. The half of the readers, definitely readers like me, which is why this pissed me off so much, is we want to figure out what happens, right? It makes us feel smart. We want to figure it out. So if you're a good author, you let the readers figure it out just when you want them to. And so they feel smart, but still surprised. That's really good writing. And he definitely got it down. The characters in this were dynamic. I had loved their friendships. It was beautiful. I loved it. Very, very well done. I need to get Camp Damascus now, I think. Third book I'd read was 7 Year Slip. This one, I didn't know if I was going to like it or not. It was a pretty slow beginning for me. The only thing that kept me going was the concept was interesting. And I enjoyed like the talk about food. I mean, I'm a sucker. I just love chefs. Chefs are my superstars. Like Tournament of Champions, my husband and I have been watching it like most people watch playoffs for enter sports ball name here. Just that's what it is for us, right? Chefs are our superstars. I love it. So I always enjoy that kind of part. That was keeping me going. The main character was kind of blah, but that's also because she was going through grief. So it doesn't mean that's what she's like all the time. Because when she was on it, she was pretty funny, but she was going through grief, so it was kind of suppressed. Made perfect sense. But about halfway through this book, it came alive. It came alive. It was beautiful. I read it so quickly to the ending. Really, really well done. And that was 4 stars. And 1 star. 1 star. And look, this thing has it's like 4.6 or 4.16 or something like that stars on Goodreads. I am not the majority opinion on this. Look at the reviews, see if anything I just said sounded interesting to you. That's kind of why we do these, right? Anyone else who wants endings to books, if you want endings to books, if you want the author to give you some solutions, because life is full of no answers. Life is extremely unsatisfying. Life is not fair. I don't want any of that stuff in my books. I mean, they can be not fair. Not fair things happen in the books, but I want to know why. I need reasons. I read to escape from this nonsense. I don't need to experience it for too many hours with tiny little words and no chapters. No, can't. 1 star. So that book brought the average down to 4.25. So still not too bad. That's not, there are much worse things. It's rated higher than this one. Anyways, look, man, angry. There's only so much time to read. So overall, 4.25 is pretty impressive. I would say still pretty online. At this point, I would trust many things. I might question some litfic recommendations, but otherwise pretty much agree. The next round of honorables will be The Women by Kristen Hanna, Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I'm going to read the first one, even though that's not the one that was on the list, but I'll tell you about it in the intro in the next one. Intermezzo by Sally Rooney, and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. And these will be the last group of honorable mentions. And then we will get to the real list. So I hope you're enjoying this series, even though I'm complaining a lot about that last book. I'm quite enjoying it. This is fun to see what people are into, what they're reading. Do my tastes align? Do they not align? What's popular and why is it popular? Can't answer for that one, but I can answer for the other ones. I totally get why the other ones are quite popular. All right. Thank you very much. Please make sure if you want to join the conversation, join our Discord. The link is down below. You can also find us on many other fun, exciting places where you want to come see Cursed Dragon Ship and the stuff that we are reading and the books that we publish. If you're into fantasy, sci-fi, and horror, we're for you. Meanwhile, I'll see you next video.